Hello and welcome everybody to week 2 of the Battlegrounds League. Right now, we are going to be jumping immediately into game 1. Casting today will be myself, Gormizer, and joining me is going to be M-Target. M-Target, how are you doing today, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to some Slaughterhouse action. We have 87 players in the game today, so a whole lot more. And, right off the bat, oh, hello, that's quite the shot there. And we're going to see where they all come out. Going to see a northeast to southwest line, it looks like, here. And a decent number of people dropping over Yasnaya Polyana. And there we go as the bodies hit the floor.
I'm actually really surprised to see as many people as we see kind of jump out in that top right. Stalber, the ruins up on the mountain, can have some decent loot and usually cause a little bit of a fight. It looks like people up there kind of looking more for the houses. I saw the name Smithy, which for those who might not recognize it, he's number 1 on the leaderboards right now. He did really, really well last week. He's going to be landing up there as well. It looks like just a couple others pretty much going for houses and maybe a car to try and get somewhere else, go towards that left side of the map, try and get on the west side just to pick up whatever loot they can find, because there's going to be a huge amount of housing over there that is just untouched.
That should be very interesting. A lot of people heading sort of to the east, which is interesting because people say, sort of if you look at all the numbers, people tend to go sort of south, and whichever side of the plane tends to be further south. In this case was the eastern side of the plane. So that means that especially if the circle, depending on how it pulls, we could see some really early action. And even in Yasnaya, we see, a couple people pretty close to each other, but, opposite buildings makes things a little bit less likely to be right away.
Yeah, especially with the way that the gun loot and drops are going to be. I mean, right here, we're looking at Repus has a frag grenade. And while suicide attempts aren't necessarily uncalled for, when you're trying to climb the leaderboard, that's not exactly the way you want to go. A lot of players in cars driving pretty much run after the other, all of them looking to be heading over towards that northwest side of the map just because no one's going to be over there yet.
Risky.
It's going to be really big.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are still in the air. 5, 6. Smithy and Datmosen still coming down. Smithy really taking his time. And I like that decision. Again, we saw them do really well, but they're going to find some interesting angles. But again, all those people driving towards Gurgapol going to run into each other, and then they've got to make their way back. And again, this first circle only doing half a tick of damage a second, but that still does add up when you've got you have to cross half the map. There we go.
And they're going to have the benefit, they do have the cars there, but the other thing that kind of leads into this is driving in, everyone's going to know they're driving in. Not a single person who's going to be looting over there is going to be thinking, okay, I'm safe, I have time to pick up guns. Each one of them is going to have the same rush you have when you see someone land with you. It's going to be, I need to get a gun right now, I need to prepare myself, and just do whatever it takes to be able to get the aim that I need and the shots that I have to find to take them down just that tick faster. And right now, it's looking like the circle spawning on the eastern edge of the map, looking like it's going to be more towards kind of like the east-southeast kind of border. Picking up a lot of people, but there's a lot standing outside.
Yeah, we just saw, I commented Datmosen taking a really long time to make it to the ground. He's been on the ground less than a minute and he's dead.
Feels bad, man.
It's unfortunate. Feels bad, man, indeed.
The rest of them, everyone really at this point, just kind of wandering around. What I like is we get to see these angles, and this is the same thing we get to see all the time through spectator modes, is how close these players are right now and how little they know. Of course, I believe Besto right here should be able to hear Izon, should recognize the footsteps, but without boots on, it's going to be making a lot quieter noise, just kind of waiting patiently, knows someone's in the proximity, knows that he can wait. The question is he going to pull out the shotgun or keep out this rifle?
Yep, rifle's definitely going to make... I mean, again, currently in the state of the game, the person that is being pushed has the advantage in the fight just because they know when the person's pushing them and they have just a little bit of advantage due to the third-person perspective. And we'll see what comes... Oh, actually, he's going to... Nope, lag. Can he get the push? Missing. He's going to get shot by Izon, though, and reloading. Going to try again. And Izon's going to fly through the air as he falls, so...
It's just another
kill
case getting a little bit aggressive. Of course, once you recognize there's a player there, you know where he is. That's the kind of play I like to make. I like to get aggressive. I like to fight in this game. And when you think you have the advantage, especially there where Izon did get those first few shots off, possibly thinking maybe I can get this out, as a couple going to be fired down, spotted out. Now Snapplecat just looking to try and run away, doesn't exactly know where his opponent is, but does have the advantage. The AK just a little bit stronger overall, and a smoke grenade looking to be thrown out.
I think he's hoping to bait him with the throw. Okay, he threw something. What is it? But nope, not really going to do much there. And Lukash is not. Ooh, that's actually also a bad throw as it's back behind Snapplecat. But that does mean that Snapplecat could run if he wanted to. And nope, he's going to try and stand his ground. He does manage to hit Lukash once. I don't know if he had a helmet on. If he did, then that was a headshot. Otherwise, it may have actually been 2 body shots.
As it sounds, there's a couple more shots going to be fired over there. And I don't know if I saw it, but Lukash didn't look too healthy at the end of that one. The firefight not necessarily going his way. Another player very, very close by, Danny, was taken. Does have vision, saw that the fight was going on, at least heard it no matter what, and with an extended mag might be able to take a close range fight if he wants to run in.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Again, 1 minute now remaining until the circle starts rolling in. Again, it's relatively low damage at first, but again, we're coming up on that, 5 minutes into the game. It's 1 minute before, from when the plane starts flying, you have 1 minute-ish until the circle then is announced, and then 5 minutes from there. And so players need to start thinking about moving in, especially if they are down towards Sosnovka Island or to the west.
Yeah, the ones that waited it out, especially I'm looking at someone immediately in Primorsk when we saw the map open there. That kind of player, if you don't have a car, even though there's high vehicle spawns, if you are not lucky enough to find one, you need to start running as fast as you can. The circle, it's a little slow, so you don't have to worry too much about your speed going on, but you do have to prepare yourselves. And as we can see, a lot of players already in their cars kind of heading that way, playing it a little bit safer, about 20 seconds until the circle really does start to close down. But then it's going to take a couple minutes until we see it fully closed on the new circle, which will be the safe zone these players are heading towards, as we see some AK shots coming down.
In some trouble.
Ting taking some hits, half health. Not sure if he knows where he can hit it. A couple of headshots later and qualifications. Beautiful name and beautiful play gets the kill.
Yep, very lucky though. If he had taken just 1 headshot, he was dead. No helmet on his person, so that's... Again, early on, you really want to try and hit those headshots, though, again, when you're at that angle, high ground just wins so much.
And as we see it kind of play through, again, the AK just a little bit better, usually at range, as we could see. The Scar L on the other side is going to be good, especially if you can get it decked out, but the way that this has been going for these players, it doesn't seem to be going too well. So now it looks like Trut running up with an ump and a shotgun ready to try and take on qualifications. This could actually favor him if he wants to get aggressive. These houses and the walls all around it, as long as he can keep track of the player, might be able to get it. And qualifications doesn't seem to recognize someone is there. The shots!
Unfortunately, this is not real life, so qualifications can keep on walking. Because taking a couple 9mm rounds to the foot, not fun. But good push here, and I do think that Trut needs to do or Trut, I'm not quite sure how you want to pronounce that with the 3 on the end, whether that be an E or a 3, needs to be aggressive here, especially with that shotgun. Has the advantage. He knows that he's hit his opponent and does manage to get the kill right there. So again, you've got the advantage, you've got the push, you've got to take the risk.
Yeah, the PUBGLeague shot there really, I think, is kind of what got that. Is it looked like qualifications wasn't too sure. It was very hesitant about whether or not he was going to be pushed and was trying to decide, do I want to try to flank around? Do I want to run around the building, run into the building, do whatever I can to try and separate, add some space between me and him? And that time we see Trut, whatever your name's going to be, how it's pronounced, make the decision, get the shotgun out. And honestly, the full auto spray from the ump actually very helpful in that kind of scenario.
Yep, and we're going to see some more action going on here. Good day, just going to let Keith fly right by. But again, we're going to start seeing people moving towards the circle again. It is closing in. Not the end of the world. We still do see L2P, Lush, Big Matt, etc. over by Gurgapol hanging out. But Yasnaya, we do see that the Alaskan, did just get dropped by Cat Odd. Yasnaya, as well as Rozhok, both very likely locations that we will see some action. Yasnaya, because people have been there, and we will also see the people from Stolber moving in, and then of course Rozhok, because players will be moving in or players who were already there. And Fire 1337, this is the 4th game in a row that we have seen him hang out at the school from the beginning.
And honestly,
but he's alive this time, so not
alive, looted, and doesn't seem to be having much of an issue. I don't know if anyone was landing with him. I mean, school's a hot spot. There's bound to have been other players, but at this point, he's in the circle. He's relaxed. Most people, when they drive by, the immediate thought is, let's go ahead and check out the school. Like maybe someone forgot something. Maybe we can loot it up, or at least try to catch people, especially with this circle coming in as they're trying to get to safety. Some shots going to be throwing down. Mayo, someone we got to see a lot last week. Again, just going to be kind of playing it safe in this car, has the armor, and ultimately he's going to be safe inside the circle now. But a lot of people waiting for him and a lot of opportunities for them to find those kills.
Yep, and there's, again, Tret3, Troot, depending how you want to pronounce it, looking at Fades Gaming. And bit of a long-distance firefight here, AK versus AK. Obviously, Tret with the advantage in this 1-versus-1 because he has the scope and a rock. Fades is bandaging and just hoping that the natural topography will help him out a little bit. Also, hollow in the hollow site can make things a little bit harder for that fight. So he does decide to try and make the rush. He does manage to make the run to the barn, and he does have a micro Uzi. Though Troot does still have that
UMP just sitting on his back, yeah. And at this point, it does kind of, I want to say again, favor Troot just a little bit with the range when it comes down to it. The scope looking a little bit better, having, I want to say, just an overall grasp of where we're going to be seeing Fades is, but it looks like he's actually going to go ahead and just call for a retreat. Not sure he's going to be able to get too far away without someone noticing, but here we actually see Abyssal Smite doing what players like to do, laying in the grass, but waiting patiently for someone to come just running around, unsuspecting, and he'll be able to find that. Fergs right now running pretty much right at him, and with the way that the map is shaped, Fergs probably won't even be able to spot him. Abyssal Smite should have the advantage here, should be able to take some shots, but he looked away at the wrong time. Fergs now at the tree. We'll have a little bit of cover for this fight.
Yep. Oh, nope. Ferg's losing his cover. He's going to keep running up. He has no idea that Abyssal Smite is here. Abyssal Smite should know that he is coming, has somebody running just past him. And, oh, Ferg does turn around, but it is too late. Running with that alt button is great for seeing what's going on, but awful for actually reacting when somebody is close. And Enter FC says, I don't think so, buddy, and takes that hard left turn. But on that motorbike does mean that he needs to be careful, and he's gonna actually get killed there. Nice shot by Abyssal. And now Abyssal has 2 bodies to loot for his pleasure, but Annexed knows that he's there, and then we do have 2 more cars that will cover Annexed's approach.
And a couple more players actually coming in from behind. Josu here should be able to spot Abyssal Smite. Again, both players at this point must have heard the firing. Annex going to be the first one to try and find the shots, and is going to be able to find the kill along with it. Probably caught out looting Abyssal Smite. I mean, once you kill 2 players, you think you're safe, but the 2 in the circle who are taking the tick damage right now are going to start fighting. That's going to draw attention to themselves, and the shot's going to be fired. Annexed with a superior position and a lot of loot for him. If he can make it out of here, he is going to be ripe for the picking.
Yep, Hung is going to get a couple shots off, but again, taking a non-trivial amount of damage. Now it is up to 0.75 as the circle has locked, so we are into circle 2 numbers now. That's 1.5 damage every 2 seconds, 15 damage every 20. Again, doesn't sound like it's that much, but it does add up over time, especially when his opponent has an M16. So he needs to be careful about that, but obviously this may be a, maybe not a hugely important fight, but they're, again, neither of them are near the next circle, so whoever wins this fight then has to make it into the circle, which is not an awful distance away, but is also still very crowded. Also, Edgar Allan Pug in the area. Still doing some looting. I don't expect to see him come to the fight. We do see another fight, though, occurring a little bit further north. We do have Chlotwaf, and I missed his name. Zwiro, yes. Oh, yes, we saw Zero do pretty well last week as well. So let's see if Zwiro can win this fight with the push. And nope, Zwiro was not prepared for that, and so I don't think Chwat was either. He's expecting me further out, and now, ooh, he's in trouble, and Chwat is going to get the kill there.
Just a couple of bullets off when it comes down to it. I mean, Zwiro, at that point, if he had hit maybe one more shot just up at the higher body, maybe even just a headshot at that point, would have been enough to kind of down it. Just the 1 tick difference, I want to say, between the peeking and the aggression that we saw come out of it as we kind of peek around Fairy Tale of Sin in a house again, and very close to him is Mr. Hitman. Both of them bound to find out the other is there pretty soon, as I see a couple of players kind of collapsing in on these buildings. They are in the middle of a field, and they're going to be safe, at least from the unsuspecting eye. And as we see this come out, I expect to see some fights coming through. J Snipes going to be laying around as well, just patiently waiting. This is going to be some of the things that we are kind of used to seeing players, especially once they're in the circle. They're looted up enough. They just want to wait it out. They don't know exactly where the next circle is going to be. There's no reason for them to get too aggressive and risk losing their lives just because of it as we kind of go through. I actually see Texas got killed off just a second ago. He was going to be, I think, number 6, did win a game last week. So getting taken out before top 50, going to be a little rough for him.
Yep. Speaking of a little rough, again, we see Fairy Tale of Sin. He did pretty well last week. Not amazingly, but I do believe he currently is in our top 10. I think he knows that Mr. Hitman is there, or somebody is there. Compact Stunts, he may have a general idea that there's somebody behind him. But also, thought for is that we have L2P Lush, who has been sitting outside the circle this entire time, and he is somebody who has done very well, but also does like to play the circle game. And then Real Napalm, the guy who died to the circle in top 20, top 15, I think, actually, in our first game, because he was so far away, and he spent way too much time party rocking out in the electric blue.
I don't know what the call is over there. Maybe it's okay, a lot of people left this when the circle came through. I can loot up whatever they missed, or what's going on with him, at least mentally over there. But we saw Machine Gunner do that kind of play last week. We actually saw that come through as the shot's going to be coming through. Not going to be able to find the first shot, but both players are now aware of the other. With the double barrel, the reload going to go out forward, but I don't think he knows where he went. He doesn't feel safe anymore. And upstairs is going to be...
I don't think I would be either.
A very comfortable spot for Baka Bryce here.
Oh, okay. We are going to see a bit of a reset here. Dead Beef is keeping an eye on Shane there. And he does have that M4, though looks like he may actually not have any rounds outside of that. Nope, there's the reload. Okay. So, but he, is Dead Beef going to just sit and wait? He's in the circle. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
And honestly, with the advantage Shane, upstairs, too.
Do you push? Yeah, especially because of this advantage. Shane's going to try and grenade in. Again, it's certainly a good compromise here, but it's risky, and he doesn't find anything, and he tells Dead Beef that he is still there. There's still very much somebody around. Not sure about the running away position, because that shotgun is definitely the best option for him, as we see X-Besta using a first aid kit all the way over there. Again, playing that electric slide. Real Napalm's going to make it into the circle this game, guys. Everybody applaud.
Waiting for him right there in the town, though, is going to be Katie Cakes, who I think took number 2 overall. Definitely in the top 10 pretty much every game. Very consistent player, very decent as well, and able to find the shots. Doesn't look like we're going to see the fight come through. Looks like Katie Cakes is just going to be kind of relaxing where it's safe. But Real Napalm finally makes it inside the circle. And other than Machine Gunner, who is still outside the circle in a boat currently, most of the players, Gazrilla also going to be outside, are going to be in the current safe zone. Not too long until the circle starts collapsing, though, so they're going to have to move fast.
Definitely, and this is definitely where circles start to get a little bit dicey. Again, we're still almost, this is technically circle number 2, so it's just, 0.75. Actually, this did just lock, so that means we are now into the 1 damage per second. So, into the scary moments. We see Shane is still hunting Dead Beef. He is upstairs trying to see if he can see Dead Beef through the windows. A little bit risky, but it's at the same time, he doesn't have to go anywhere. Although now he does, but he knows that Dead Beef has to go through him.
And with the patient, the shot's actually going to get fired. He wants to find the kill. He wants to get Dead Beef, because there's nothing worse than recognizing, especially in a minute and a half, if these players are still locked like this, Shane has to make the decision. Do I take the circle damage, depending on his meds? That's going to be an option. Or do I just have to sit here or try and run while Dead Beef is knowingly behind me? And with Dead Beef having the cover he has right now, it looks honestly like it's just a superior position overall. Enough windows to peek pretty much everywhere he would want, as well as having the stairs to it as advantage. Shane would pretty much need to find the perfect grenade, which I saw a few on his belt still. He might have that opportunity, but it looks like he wants to get aggressive. And now we actually have a couple of vehicles driving past here. It doesn't look like anyone's going to want to stop, though.
I wouldn't either. Just, again, roll it. Just, there's no reason to stop here. There's absolutely. Maybe people inside. There might be loot, but at this point, you should be looted well enough that you just want to keep rolling and find something. Especially because those cars are parked the way that they are. You know that something at least went down.
And usually, of course, like you said, with the way that they're parked and the way that you see that, once you know something went down, one person had to live through it. There's not going to be many chances that you're going to see both players kind of kill each other. It can happen, but it's very, very rare here. As it actually looks like Fairy Tale of Sin recognizes someone is near him, must have heard some footsteps, going to be aiming a grenade, going to throw it out right down the stairs though. So Keith should recognize Fairy Tale of Sin, knows he's around, but doesn't quite have eyes on him.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, a lot of shenanigans going on.
Mr. Hitman is
sort
still
of
around
across
here
the map. Yeah, Mr. Hitman and Fairy Tale have been in this little dance of death for a little while. They definitely both know they're there. Are we going to see Mr. Hitman go for the other people in his line of sight? Very possibly. Again, circle starting to close here. Machine Gunner driving in from Mill to Power. He's somebody that we saw do pretty well last week. Had some rough patches in the middle, but
I have to say, looking at the map, we've been checking in with them on and off. Dead Beef was alone in that last little glance. Dead Beef, I think, was finally able to kind of close out what he had. As you said, the circle now starting to close. Edgar Allan Pug on the outside. A couple of other players having to run in there. Machine Gunner got out of his boat into a land vehicle, is now driving towards the circle, has been outside this entire time. I need the loot that these players get. I never have enough meds to play the way that they do, and I have no idea where they get it. I
can't prove this, but I'm convinced, and this included when I ran the games last week, as we do see a kill come through here really quickly. Nice fight from Pazuka getting the kill around a poke. But I was convinced, again, I was running one of the games early on, and I set everything to default. But I was convinced more people were there were more level 3s, there were more meds, there were more backpacks, like level 3 backpacks, than I ever find in my games. I was just like, I'm convinced that custom games just get more loot.
And
I can't prove it.
I can say I know there's settings for that, but I also know that we don't tweak any of those for this. So exactly, it has to
like I said, even when I ran
pure luck.
Yep. So Ambition really on the edge of the circle here, actually going into the circle here, taking that chunka.
I like that play because I feel like he didn't realize how close the circle was, ran out, took the tick damage, and just had that oh wait moment, and then decided to run back. Although now running,
he's saying, "Forget it. I need to take this damage," because he knows that there's stuff going on. He who dies running past two people who are in their own firefight, he goes, "Oh God!" And then he's going to turn around and say, "Oh hello, aren't you choosy?" As he just chomps him right up, and he who dies gets a nice killer. Oh, but then he announced himself, and there's still one more person in the area, and he has no clue where they are. And honestly, I'm not quite... Oh, there he is. Gazrilla announcing himself, and he kills Hippie Lettuce, actually, and Gazrilla is incredibly low. Look at that. 1 HP. Con Games is looking at him, and Gazrilla probably trying to heal up. Yep, there we go. Full med kit, just like that. He says, nah, I'm good.
Now just waiting patiently. Car out up against the SKS. Gonna hit harder, but not quite as fast. Con Games throw some nades there. So he knows Gazrilla is in the area, and Gazrilla just going to peek with the 2x, going to make it a little bit harder to see, a little bit harder to hit the headshot.
Gets clipped.
And ultimately, he's going to be taking a hit because of it.
Yep. Con Games is saying, I know where you are. And Gazrilla's like, dude, I was spending time outside the circle just for this. I am looted.
And with this, I mean, he's going to be able to kind of patiently wait here. I mean, Gazrilla with the level 3 helmet can take a hit to the head as well. So Con Games really has to be on point. With the SKS, he could kind of spam fire, get the shots out as fast as he wants, but it looks like he may or may not be making a retreat, running towards other players, or at least trying to get a reposition against Gazrilla to get some shots off, but kind of exposing himself backwards. If anyone looks over here, he's just wide open in the middle of the hill. Gazrilla doesn't seem to be able to find him. The circle starting to close in on him.
Wow. Con Games got that, but he's going to die to the circle. It's going, I mean, it's 1.5 damage per second. He's only got bandages. He's going to try to use his first aid kit. I think he's too low. He's probably going to die.
Sick.
And yep, just like that. Didn't just quite have enough.
A couple of times.
Again, 6 seconds, 1.5 damage per second. You've got to have a little bit more than that. And so he is going to fall, and Gazrilla's going to just kind of be like, it's a fadeaway consolation prize.
Has almost had it. I believe he actually, I mean, I saw some cancels come out before that. It just wasn't quite able to get the full heal off. Had he just kind of stuck with it, might have been able to make it. A few other players
he went bandaged before first aid. If he had gone first aid straight, he would have had a shot. We do see Good Day just hauling in, trying to survive. We see Trip 2K here shooting at, I can't quite read the name, and he is falling. Luckily, you don't take too much fall damage in a car. And Trip 2K gonna jump down, and look at all those red bars. Everybody needs to take a break and heal up. Good Day running for his life. Nope, he's dead. That's a bad day.
Middle of the field, worst place to get caught out. Trip 2K here, actually going to be right over the caves. This is the tunnels. This is one of my favorite places to kind of go, and a good place to find loot. And as you can see, he's looted up just well. Gets the shot, not able to get the full kill just yet, but
there we go.
Should be able to pull that out no problem. Recognizes Rhino Main is in the neighborhood as well. First aid kit going to come through just to get a little bit of health back, but ultimately this is going to be the fight. Trip 2K knows there's enemies nearby, but he's going to fall down. That's a long-range shot from L2P.
Yeah, L2P got that with the Car 90. Oh, all of a sudden, we're down to 11, and this is the glory of some of these smaller circles, is it really quickly just rushes right down, and now we get into the fun part of the game. L2P, Lush, Raptor to Raptor, Oddcat, Smithy. We saw all of these guys last week, and doing well consistently. Sergeant Hatake, I believe, is new. Kavorska, I know I didn't see at least do well. He may have had a rough time. And oh, look at that. Smithy has that suppressed Scarl, but not getting the shots he's looking for. So
unfortunately,
Hatake running for his life, hitting him there, but not quite what he needs. This is the moment where you just need to stop and just take your shots. Yeah.
It's not going to give away his position. Clipped one hit is all it takes. He does have a car on his back as well, but Smithy seeming to kind of lean towards that. I don't want people to know where I am just yet. Overall, as Sergeant just kind of running around, doesn't know where he was getting shot from, but is healed up, going to start running away. Smithy again open with the ability to kind of shoot at him. This is just a wide open field, not exactly the position you want to be in.
Going down there. Now we are into our top 10. Again, everybody gets points based on how well they do. And then from there, it's how many kills you get. In addition, one kill is 1 point. So top 5 is definitely what I would call in the money. Top 10, though, is certainly not bad if you're trying to place over the long term. And so, especially consistently here. And L2P Lush is hiding out in that concrete shack, and he is going to start taking some shots here at guy named KJ, and he is going to fall. Raptor to Raptor taking down Oddcat with a micro Uzi of all things. And L2P Lush is in a bit of trouble. He's going to get chunked here, but so is Smithy. And Smithy does not have time to look. He knows that there's somebody there, but Smithy needed to get out of the circle. And Lush says, I see you. Goodbye. 7 left.
For Smithy going to get taken down there. I'm not sure if he recognized someone was in there. The way that he played that last little bit, it seemed like he didn't think. I think he was going towards the shack trying to get cover, then realizes at the last second, this isn't in the circle, runs away, and Lush with the heal is going to be able to kind of survive that one. Sergeant Solo, Raptor to Raptor, has a nice position here to be able to kind of see a few of the players as it goes through. Not in the circle, though. Going to be forced to move here in about a minute. Does have a car behind him, but as we saw last week, that's not exactly the safest thing for you, especially in these later circles.
Lush popping Fairy Tale of Sinla with that car in 88 that we were just talking about here. To note, now the circle is doing 5 damage per second. You need to be almost half health to survive that with that 6-second timer on the first aid kit. So definitely need to not touch the circle if you are one of these last 6 players. L2P playing the please don't see me game as he just lays prone on the ground. Managed to see Rhino Main. Does he get the shot? Suppressed suppressed car decides to go for it, but looks like a body shot into armor. Not going to really scare Rhino too much.
All right, now Mr. Hitman does have a pretty decent position, not only in the circle, but Lush has no clue that this is what he's going to be aggressing into. And he's been sitting in this house for quite some time right now, and it looks like Lush going to be choosing possibly a different building. Raptor to Raptor going to be making it in. Sergeant going to be running around as well, but with this low health, he has to make this move. Once he's in, that's going to spell it.
Felt like a death
in
camera.
The top 5.
So there we go, 5 left. So definitely in the money now.
Kavorka going to be waiting behind this double AR with the assault rifle. I mean, he has the AK as well as the Scar, going to be taking some shots, full auto, but he's going to be able to find Rhino Main. Not exactly the most accurate, not the cleanest kill, but it doesn't matter because he comes out on top. 4 people left, 3 of them pretty much within 30 feet of each other.
Yeah, Raptor to Raptor, Mr. Hitman, LTP Lush, all having an assault rifle of some kind +1. Raptor to Raptor, I believe, was the person I saw that just had a micro Uzi out, which is not awful at these ranges. Yes, he does have that, but at the same time, I don't know if I really want one when I'm top 4. So this could be really dicey. Circle doing a lot of damage now. You really don't want to touch it, or you are 100% dead here. And with the circle getting ready to close in 40 seconds, this is especially just because everybody's outside of it, and they're gonna have to do some dancing around things because vaulting isn't in yet. Gonna be interesting to see how this goes. L2P Lush thinking that he's okay. He's the closest of these 3 players. He may actually even be just inside the circle, depending on which direction he steps. And behind him, there is our lone member who is really playing the circle because he has no idea where they are. While these 3 guys are obviously hanging out there. And Kavorka, again, if these 3 guys just kill themselves right now in a fight, then he wins. So there's nothing wrong with playing the circle and playing careful.
I feel like Raptor to Raptor has spotted or recognizes that there's going to be players around the house right now waiting patiently for Lush, Mr. Hitman, as well, starting to move. None of them have spotted each other. They don't have a visual confirmation, but now they have audio confirmation, as we're going to see some silence shots thrown out right now. Lush waiting patiently for someone to peek, but no one's going to peek. Hitman going to get caught out, turning around, looking for it, and Raptor to Raptor going to be able to get that. The micro Uzi, like you said, at this range, going to be good, but Lush returning that one immediately. Kavorka, though, he's the only one in the circle. He has the advantage. He knows where Lush is.
Indeed. He does get clipped by that, and just like that, Lush says, hey, you took a bit of damage. I'm going to take advantage of that. And L2P Lush with 9 kills, that was loud, does get the W. And a lot of names you recognize. L2P Lush, Raptor to Raptor, Mr. Hitman, I believe we saw before. Rhino Main, Smithy taking 8th. Hey, it's points. I'll take it. Guy named KJ sounds familiar. You know, Oddcat, you know, good top 10 there. So we'll see how that goes. Going forward. And again, some people didn't do quite as well, as you can see the numbers rolling through there.
The one that kind of catches my eye is a lack of Katie Cakes. I believe she made top 10 pretty much every game last week. She didn't even make it that as far this time. I believe Reptar won. I just saw kind of down there. Currently at number 10. Not making it as high place as they want. That's just kind of showing. I mean, last week we didn't have quite as many players when it came into it. We were hovering around that 47, 48 mark. So it was maybe a little bit easier for some of these players to kind of get through those first initial circles because there wouldn't be as much of a hectic grab for these weapons. But as we saw right there, kind of towards the end, is that that's not going to be the case, especially with the amount of players we have right now. And with that, I believe we'll be taking just a little bit of a short break as we kind of wait patiently and go into the next game here as we get ready for game number 2. So we'll throw it to a BRB screen and get that one set up.
travel low, don't you know? Listen up to the magical, lyrical, not just show up and out like a miracle. Remember you in the just adore me, just throw it up. All your doubts and fears, don't make it up.
Welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 of this week's PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds League. As we go through, we got to see, pretty exhilarating game as we saw the last game. The same number of players, 88 now, pretty much ready to come in, fight whatever they want to do, and make their way to being in the top 10. Once again, my name is Gormizer, and joining me, again, is going to be M-Target.
Yep, well, happy to be here. Oh, and there we go, into the plane, and let's take a look at the map as the flight path comes out, and come on, plane. There we go. We can very different location. So I'm going to be going over Milta, heading to the west.
It's going to allow the players a couple of options here. I mean, a lot of players will maybe opt towards Milta, maybe try to drop down towards Milta Power, even fly up towards Lipovka, Crater, all of this over here kind of in the southeastern side of the map. But this does kind of allow players to make the risk. If they want to, they can try to fly as far as they can, get over onto the island, try to go for the military base if they really want to. But it doesn't seem like we will have too much of that. Again, a lot of the players at this point, the call would probably be find a vehicle, drive to where it's safe. We saw that at the beginning of the last game, when I kind of expect to see that again this time.
Yeah, definitely. I expect to see a lot of people and sort of spreading out to the north and to the south. And the funny thing here is that what ends up happening is that everybody, in trying to avoid the middle section and avoiding other people, ends up clustering elsewhere. Now, luckily on this flight path, there wasn't a whole lot in the middle anyways. It kind of flew over a lot of empty space. But you'll often see that. And so, like, only 2 people landed in Crater. Though in your pub games, you may be aware that Crater is one of those places that you go if
Hot spot.
You want to die. Yeah, hot spots, cauldrons of death, blood dead zones.
And it's one of those, like, the one that kind of equates here for me is going to be Schooled, which this time we're actually going to be seeing about 4 players inside the actual area,
but no
6
fire.
Players in that area, or in the surrounding area total. But yeah, no fire so far. Still looking for a gun, still looking to try and find whatever they might be able to. And honestly, with the way that the building is designed, it kind of gives players this advantage, as we actually see, Reapa's here looking for 6th rune. He can kind of peek down, see if someone's going to be going up to him, but there's still the ability to get flanked. There's a lot of kind of maneuverability inside the building, and the walls are going to make this a lot more close combat.
Definitely, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the school in the opening minutes, as we do see the circle has dropped, and the circle is not actually over the school, which means that it's definitely going to be harder on one side. And look at that, favoring those gambles to go towards Gurgapol. So those guys are good. Trip 2K, since we're on the map, still in the air, just now coming down. I don't like this gamble. I get that he's doing the swing thing, but I mean, other players have already made it down there, so obviously his hold for trying to stay up high doesn't always do the trick.
You can fly far, but when it comes down to it, if you can land and find a car, you will get there just a little bit faster. And as we see,
I think that's actually not necessarily correct, but the problem is that because people beat him there, it shows like he took the slow route.
The slower route. And when it comes down to it, he's going to be landing where more weapons will spawn kind of towards, I want to say, like the barracks or the apartments or whatever they are kind of up there. Those 3 main buildings, as Fairy Tale Sun does have a spot, but ultimately the weapons are going to be kind of spread out. It's going to be high spawn down here no matter what, so it's still going to be a big risk. It just looks like it's going to pay off just enough for him that he's not going to be at too much of a disadvantage because of where he's landing.
Yep, and Con Games actually managing to juke Fairy Tale of Sin there. And plenty of people inside the circle, so they're fine. A lot of car movement still. School looks... I see 3 people, so we may have missed a death, but 3 is plenty. I see Fine did manage to get a kill up in Severny as well. So
that's one of those places I want to say on the map that's actually kind of, I feel like, overlooked. A lot of players don't tend to head up there unless the flight path tends to maybe favor it. That, like, that's the only place we can go. That's where we have to leave. It's not a bad place to loot up.
It's super risky, though, in my opinion. I'm somebody that personally likes to go to Severny, shooting range, etc. Shooting range, not so much anymore, because A, more people are going there because a lot of people made videos talking about how great it was, and B, the loot just doesn't feel that good right now. But Severny, again, pretty good, especially if you can get the whole town to yourself. But that's a problem when you need an entire town to loot 2 people.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, it's going to be another scenario where you put yourself in a town at the north end of the map, and you have to hope the circle's not going to fall down around the island towards the bottom, around the military base, or anywhere, just anywhere on the south side of the map, because at that point you lose precious time trying to loot. You have to find a vehicle, which sometimes you can find one in the town, sometimes you can find it on the roads nearby, but sometimes you will just be stuck having to run, and at that point you're going to be stuck around there.
Yeah, speaking of going for running, he does, but Trip 2K trying to hit him there and does get some good shots off. So again, his slow flight, I guess, did an okay job there. As much as I was complaining about it, maybe I'll start doing it just in the upcoming week, so I can, try some slow flights just so I can, understand other players' options. I'll do that this week.
And it does kind of have a little bit of a benefit. I mean, as we saw right there, he landed in time where there were still other players there, but depending on how far you go or how slow you are getting down, other people have left the area. And with the military base, there's no way they were able to take all of that loot. There's still going to be ammo and guns left for you. So it's entirely possible that a play like that could benefit you, especially in this kind of scenario where your goal is essentially just stay alive as long as you can.
Yep, and we have Compact Stunts, who I'm pretty sure doesn't know that somebody's there. But Rhino, was it Rhino? No, I just missed the name. So many names on the map. That he definitely saw him. Sorry, KJ. There we go. KJ saw him. That definitely sees him now.
I was just hoping that there might be a crossbow play, but not going to be coming through. Knows he's around.
But with that S12K, not a whole lot of range on it.
Yeah.
So, of course, if this were real life, you could hit the shot. Well, it's called balance, guys. You have to match it up a little bit. Otherwise, everybody would be using smoothbore Saigas with slugs and sniping people from across the map.
What I will say is I really like the S12K as well, just as a shotgun. While I almost every time feel bad if I ever put any AR attachments on it, depending on how many I'm able to find, I like the play that it brings you, just because the other shotguns can hit a little harder, but with the speed that one brings, the ability to just kind of come out, even if you miss the first couple shots, you have 3 to fall back on, and you can just kind of spam it, and if you get the extended mag, you get the 8 shots total. The gun just kind of allows you to be more aggressive while still being safe.
Especially in the mid game, sure, it's it's that question of effective DPS, where sure, one shot doing enough to kill somebody in the early game with the other 2 shotguns, beating out the fact that the S12K needs 2 to kill them in the early game, but the S12K still only needs 2 to kill them in the mid game as well.
Yeah,
maybe 3 compared to those needing 2 or 3 as well, and so it shoots faster and actually does more effective DPS because they can soak more of the damage.
Now it looks like a lot of the players now starting to make their way over towards the circle. Gatka looking to actually be kind of a hot spot as it stands right now. Normally players don't look over here too often, but seeing them in such close proximity, it's decent loot, but like you said, kind of the same way where Severny is, you're not going to find a lot here. And with the amount of players I'm seeing on the map in this area, they're all going to be kind of stuck. And I mean, I'm looking at someone running around, Cubsy, with the revolver of all things. Not exactly the gun you want to be stuck with.
No, but especially Snapplecat might be looking at him. Maybe he sees Snapplecat. So that's going to make things dicey running into this building. I mean, I certainly don't want to go for... Yeah, Snapplecat didn't see him. Maybe he sees him now.
Definitely should have the audio from when he ran by. Not sure.
If he doesn't see him now, then got some questions for you, buddy. But I'm guessing I think it's a Car 98 then as well, because obviously if it was a shotgun, I would probably want that out instead of the Scar.
Oh yeah.
And Cubsy running around. Surprised that he didn't check that building, but I think he might know that somebody was there and looking for any kind of gun that isn't the
revolver. And when it comes down to it, it's 7 shots, and they're going to be strong shots, especially if you can hit them. But for me, iron sights with it, it's very hard to hit. Just third person aiming with it, very hard to hit. And if you don't hit enough of them when it comes down to it, that's the longest reload time you're really going to experience coming down to it. I'd love to see maybe a challenge come through for the tournament right now. Find yourself a cowboy hat, carry that on your side, and just only use the revolver, but I just don't see it going too well for him overall.
Definitely not. Maybe in the future. Maybe some fun games during the week. But for now, again, people working towards the circle. We do see the end of a fight in to the south end of Gatka, where we did see one kill. But Quayside and Reptar, I think they're both aware that each other are in the area.
Reptar holding that door.
You hold that door.
This is one of those plays that I feel like when you see something like that, so you get the player sitting there, he's aiming patiently at the door, he's waiting. He knows someone's nearby, but he has no idea when or if they're going to even poke in here. Fast forward to when the circle is right behind them. All of a sudden,
we got two guys that are literally right on top of each other, right there, and Lukash does find the kill, but that would have been hilarious if he had gotten turned on. And I'm sure Wildy or Wildy not feeling too great about that either. Apologies. Continue.
Well, that's actually what we just saw there is another thing that I think is kind of a benefit. So we're going to be seeing some people get pushed out by the circle, but seeing that play, a lot of people have kind of taken to camouflaging themselves. I've noticed a lot more players being able to hide, as it looks like Texas going to be able to take out Trip 2K there. And Texas, I mean, he was one of those players that was able to make it to the top and win a game last week. I'm looking to try and repeat that. Trip 2K, though, not going to be making it as far as he did in the last game. And that was going to be number 67 all across the board, as these players still looking to try and get there. Lush taking the UAZ, just trying to get away into the circle. Very close, but with a few other players in the neighborhood, looks to play it safe.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a good decision to do so, especially if you think there's anybody in Primorsk who's just getting shot with. Also, Texas might see your boy, but no, Texas is below. He is doing some shopping on the body. So yeah, speaking of camouflage, I make a point to wear, the black shirt, and I actually like the Twitch beanie because it hides your head a little bit better. And then I wear dark pants because if you're in shadows, it's a lot harder to see you. Obviously, if you get a crate with the Wookiee suit in it, then the ghillie suit's quite nice for you, so you can be a bush Wookiee, but only if you're in the grass. So
I saw
this goes
the other day, I can't remember which jacket. It was one of the puffier jackets, along with just standard kind of brown pants, completely blend in to a tree. Like, I did not realize, I was watching the GIF. It took me about 3 or 4 times before I could see the player. And at that point, you were about 10 feet away. Luckily, I mean, they were looking the other way, so that's why the gun wasn't visible. And that kind of can help camouflage you. But at the same time, if someone's running up behind you, you're not going to have that much of an opportunity to turn around. The player in the GIF was able to get it. But as we could see here, and as we might see throughout this game, a lot of that isn't going to play too much unless we do see a ghillie suit come by and the crate's coming through. There's potential for it. There's always going to be the chance for someone to try and get in there. But as it stands, it looks like most players kind of going for the typical blue jeans t-shirt combo.
Yeah, we will see what's... I want to make some sort of like what The Rock is cooking or John Cena joke here, but I can't. Too much wrestling has been on my Twitter feed lately. I don't follow it at all, so that's why I can't just like come up with these things right off the bat. And also why I'm coming with guys that don't even wrestle right now. But
I am going to admit I'm impressed with Machine Gunner. I think this is going to be the first game, and like all of the games that we have watched, that he is not outside the circle for the first circle. He's going to be sitting inside of Yorgapol, inside the next zone lucky. As well. I'm proud of you, man. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is, because I mean, in the last ones we've even seen, he hasn't patiently, like, it hasn't been, oh man, I'm outside the circle, I got to get over there. It's, yeah, I'm over here driving a boat around Novo, just doing whatever I can, looking for a vehicle over here in Milta while the circle's up in the north side of the map. Like, he has some curious plays, but he always tends to live through it, wondering how the loot's going to be for him right now. But trying to get in the circle, there's still a couple players just outside looking to try and heal up with what is left. Now they have to make themselves over to the new circle, which is a good maybe 30% water.
Yeah, and personally, I enjoy these because you either can play the water, you can hop in a boat and play sort of on the edge, play the beach, stuff like that, and play for some options there, especially because you know that everybody else is going to be squished into the land. So,
and it also has, I want to say, one of the better geographic features of the map, in my opinion, is just the mountain that is in this region, because a lot of players love going up there. It's a great place to snipe. You can view everything. There's not a lot of cover. When you're up there, you can peek behind rocks, but if you're trying to actually snipe people, have a big impact on it, you're going to be kind of a sight for sore eyes. You're going to be a dot pretty much on a white canvas. And when it comes down to it, people can kind of pick you off. I think last week, the last game we watched was actually in that area as well. But it looks like not going to be, I want to say, a big play. A lot of players used to be favored. It used to be one of the places to go to just because it was a nice place to get a view of the land. A lot of players tend to avoid it now.
Definitely. So again, let's see. Edgar Allan Pug just going to rip into Sergeant Hatake, who did do pretty well last time. But again, when you decide, okay, I got to go for my run, you know, you go for it, and sometimes you get punished here. And speaking of getting punished, we do still see some players still out in the blue who were just a little bit too greedy possibly and taking some serious chunk. And that's not fun.
Yeah, so, normally for the, I want to say the latter 50 in a 100-man game, of course, this one going to 88, so it's going to be like the latter 30 here. You don't see a lot of died outside the play zone for the first circle, but it has potential. And a lot of these players, again, they were running, swimming, whatever, what have you, trying to get from where they are to the new circle. With the way that the plane flew in originally, if they jumped out early on, they're going to be stuck in this position where now we're looking at like, you know, Pizuka here, having to get into a boat, having to try and drive around, should be able to find a comfortable spot, but having to use those precious meds just to stay alive from the first circle, let alone trying to get into the next one afterward. This looks like it's going to be a long path for him.
Definitely, but again, back to the action, so to speak. Again, we're in my opinion, when you're following Battlegrounds, the best way to talk about it is we're looking at, you know, little snapshots of the story until we get to about top 20 or so, I would say, and we're getting to those really tight circles where then it's a really good, fast-paced, free-for-all game. So, but with that said, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, just especially this early on, a lot of it is getting a feel for how the players want to play it, just because, like, you can see, like, even here when we're hovering over Baka Bryce, this is the kind of person who wants to get a decent gun, get some decent amount of ammo, and then wait at the edge of the circle for people who he knows is going to come in.
I missed what Baka Bryce had, but he certainly didn't miss when he hit Truth in the head. And so just like that, click, gone. And Baka Bryce checking to see if anybody else is in the area. Doesn't quite see them. Total T-Mac has been running this line, riding this rail the entire way through.
And just outside, like, that has to be the worst feeling. You can see the edge of the circle, and every step you take, it is getting just as, like, it's staying the same distance away from you. Of course, should be able to catch it eventually, but again, healing
it does
is
stop.
Going to be playing a big issue when it comes down to it, because a lot of this, I mean, players, you can have good luck. Like I said in the last game, a lot of them were able to kind of stay out in that blue circle as long as they wanted, and it didn't seem to affect them. But if you have my luck, you're finding maybe an energy drink, and then you're just stuck on that, and you have to live on that energy drink for the rest of the game. Not going to be able to work out, but it seems like they're going to be in a relatively comfortable position.
Well, if it's insert your brand energy drink here, then that could sustain you through that. But no, in all seriousness,
we need to get sponsored.
Dude, energy drink sponsors.
Perfect for this game.
Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot of other stuff. You know, motorcycle helmet sponsors, welding helmet sponsors. You know, from there, but backpack sponsors, you know, maybe MetaThreads just should hit us up for their level 3 backpack.
Or your favorite brand police vest manufacturer.
We're just going to go with regular vests. We're going to go with the stylish options.
Oh, get those.
But no, actually, hang on. We got gunfight going on somewhere, and Sick Gremlin is shooting at nothing. He doesn't even see fine, so that's awkward. And he falls. So that's the nice thing about when you just prone right there is you're underneath the I mean, he jumped down here obviously, but he was able to shoot under the rail. But again, now we're up to circle 3, so that means that we are ticking at 1 damage per second, which means that everybody still out there, such as Reptar hurting. We see Pizuka still hanging out there. Hopefully he's got enough gas, because I am one of those people that does ride the rail in the boat, and I have had more than one occasion where I didn't quite gauge my gas correctly and died.
And nothing feels worse when you're full speed, you're just outside the circle, you're low health, you're like, I'm going to make it in, and then you get the vehicle is out of gas.
And right, you just come to a screeching halt
to a dead stop.
The boat.
And you have to decide what your next play is here. As we actually see a couple of players, like we had mentioned earlier, play in the water over there in the map, since the new circle is going to be kind of covering that edge of the map. It's going to be a definite play, but there's opportunities for them to get cut out, making it onto the shore.
Yep, so Texas involved in the shenanigans. Let's get 1 kill here, and taking down Con Games with the frag grenade. But there are still 2 other people in the 2 houses, just sort of across from him. I think that's qualifications at Al, or... Oh, here we go. Thank you, camera. You're going to see Molyok and Mr. Corey, who Mr. Corey was spamming in chat before the game started that he didn't manage to make it in time, and when he told him tough cookies. So, but no, he did make it in.
Noticing, just looking at the kill feed, Lush going to be picking up another kill. Lush, of course, with the win last game, looking to try and ride that streak as far as they can. And that's something that we've seen a lot of these players that get in the top 10, especially from last league, were able to kind of consistently do that over and over again, where they were at the point where it's like, yeah, you know, they made it top 10. They're probably going to make it top 10 again. Smithy was actually one of the ones that kind of caught my eyes. It was surprising to see him go as low as, I mean, number 8, not bad, but just being lower than he had been last week.
Yeah, he was top 5, I think, in all 2 out of the 3 games. So we'll see how he goes here. Play area is now starting to restrict, which means we are now up to circle 4, which means that we are now ticking at 1.5 damage per second. Snapplecat gonna die from falling. Unfortunate, but you know, it happens.
Motorcycle fatalities are some of the worst that you can feel, and honestly, happens to me all the time, because every time you go up in the air, you want to get a flip.
Yeah, fine. Nope, not fine. I was gonna say, not doing too hot. Took some damage in the flip, and then got finished off by Lukash as well. And now we do have somebody else flying through here. As Danny was taken, is looking for it, looking, okay, what's going on? And Lukash is just hiding, and D'Artagnan might actually get the shot here, as Danny was taken, just cruises right on through. And he's actually gonna hop off. He's gonna play some paintball here behind these nice big straw bales or hay bales.
This is becoming quite a hot spot right now for a lot of players, just because of the edge of the circle. A lot of kills going on, a lot of red health bars being fired around, and about 6 players all kind of sitting within range of, like, I mean, hearing range at this point. Total T-Mac died outside the play zone. Unfortunately for him, did not make it in the way we saw Pizuka.
Man.
But these other players looking to pick up anyone who might get caught out with the circle almost fully collapsed here. They should be able to find something soon, but it looks like we might just see them retreat.
Good day, Izon. Not feeling too good right now. Hung in some trouble. Maybe not. Actually, Dead Beef in a worse spot. Is he actually still in the car, or is he? No, he's just outside the car, so he has a decent angle there, and he's gonna hit the pan. Feels good, man. As Hung just takes some fall damage, but still in a slightly better spot. But they are both taking damage from the electricity. Hung's gonna go for the nade play and then run away, but not gonna find the kill. But Dead Beef needs to get out of there, or you know, just take Hung with him, because again, the kill plus the placing, it's not gonna be top 10, not gonna be top 5, but it's something.
And it's still going to be able to contribute to it. And a lot of players do have that kind of mentality, and sometimes, especially in this, depending on the meds that we see Dead Beef have, that could be the kind of plays like, I'm not going to make it through this circle, I'm going to make sure you don't make it through this circle. Although they are right there at the edge, Hung might have potential to look for stuff.
Hung doesn't get the kill, which kind of stinks, because that would have been a point, but instead he just dies to the circle. So hey, at least he denied himself. We got a boat fight going on here. Rhino Main in the water, so boat won't actually run him over there. So, and he can't shoot, so you're just kind of hanging out, going, okay, you know what? But he can swim and slow play this smart. He should be okay. Machine Gunner in some trouble here, and Machine Gunner goes down to L2P Lush. Unfortunately, we're not going to see a high result from him this game. L2P Lush should be okay, but he does know that there are a couple players in the water, and he knows that he has alerted everyone to his presence.
Royal Titan has done something that I have never seen another player do. So there's a beached boat already there. Drives his boat right next to it, makes himself a little alcove, gets out, and now has a view on the players that could come up from behind him, but has protection on this beach, so he doesn't have to run across essentially no man's land to get to cover. And that's actually going to be really good. Lush was in the neighborhood. Lush would be able to spot him out and be able to find that kill, no problem, especially if anyone else coming out from the circle of the water players decided they wanted to kind of move forward and get on the beach just enough to be able to find those shots. So ultimately, just having a nice little bit of cover and a smart heads-up play coming out just to keep him ahead, depending on how this next circle goes.
Let's see how this goes. Mosin, Molyok. Lukash does fall to good day there, and D'Artagnan taking down Danny as well. So, circle moving in here again, so people really need to get in here, because this circle, I believe, is doing 3 damage a second, so it won't kill you immediately, but it's not a good time.
It's gonna hurt.
And oop, Lush is looking for it, and your boy's like, "No, I'm just gonna get back underwater." But not the same luck for Kolsov here, who does have an M24. So if he can catch L2P Lush with just one shot, oh no! But Reptar's gonna be the one that finds him with an M16 of all things.
That's going to be one of those things. Cover can give you, cover there from one side, but not from the other. Circle actually going to be closing in on a few of these players. Some in the water having to be forced up right now, but I'm mainly looking Reptar. I believe his cover was not in there. Going to have to move up as well. And like you said, this one's going to hurt.
Awful. Yep, Reptar getting chunked here. He needs to get on land, but Hung is looking at him and is like, dude, oh, he's actually not even shooting at him. He's shooting at somebody else, which is super risky. I think he knows that he's dead here. And he's going to jump into the water so that way he, dies to the play zone. Reptar dying to the play zone as well. I mean, look, if you know that you're going to die to the play zone and kills count, then yeah, go for the kill and don't let your opponent get their point. It's 1 point, but when 1 point can separate, 5th from 6th or 10th from 11th, every little bit matters.
Rhino Main is kind of hugging the edge of the water. This is one of those plays that's kind of come up a little bit more recently where you can just barely peek out. You can get your guns back so you can fire, but you have a little bit more cover than other players will have, kind of using the water to your advantage here. Lush going to have a nice advantage there with the walls and the building as well. A lot of these players looking kind of low on the other side, but with the circle kind of spawning where it is, it's going to force a lot of movement, and that's going to be the big thing. A lot of these players are clustered together waiting for the force,
gonna
the
hurt
push.
Getting out of there.
That's going to be
his only way out is through the circle.
It's one of the, and especially with a couple players sitting beside him, no matter what, if he gets spotted out, that tick damage, it's going to put him at a disadvantage.
Yep, LTB Lush taking out Rhino Main on the beach there. And again, people have to start moving. We're 30 seconds away from I believe it's going to be 5 damage per second, if I kept count correctly, of the circles. So this not going to be fun.
Well, just looking at the kind of spawn, and a lot of these players actually going to be making it in. I'm looking at Spiffer actually relatively, out in the open completely, but makes it in safely overall. Some of them still needing to move up. The players in the south going to be getting pushed.
This 15 is going to drop to 10 really fast here.
Yes. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 players that are still kind of in a position where they have a long way to go, and the circle is going to catch them a little bit faster than I think they would like.
Definitely, and these guys that are even just on the edge of the circle are not too happy with their positions. We see Jay Snipes just really kiting around, trying to find some way in, and he's still not quite there. Texas is just hauling and not having a great time. Chalotwaf is going to, actually, he's going to fall off the bike here, and Texas is trying to dance, but no, Chalotwaf is going to get the kill there. 11 left. He's not going to quite get to top 10 unless he can run or get that first aid kit going. He should have enough health to get it back up there. Moliak doing the same thing. I think he does get the first aid kit off, so if he runs this here, he may be able to survive. Yep, top 10 is now here. You're drinking that energy drink as well. Chalotwaf is trying to get in. And this is pretty much now speedrunning, where these guys are trying to go, okay, can I gamble as me versus the circle? And the circle's doing either 5 or 7 damage a tick. Not fun. Chalotwaf, if he makes it through the circle, he might make it. And no, he falls to the play zone as Moliak drops as well. So now we are down to 8, just like that.
A lot of players, surprisingly for this game, going to be dying down there. And like you said, with 8 left, and a lot of them clustered together. The minute one of them fires, it's going to just blow up. Lush did make it in over here as well. We get to see a few of the other players that we got to see kind of make it towards that top end. Jay Snipes going to be kind of lurking around, forced to move. This is going to be the other big thing. They can hug the edge of the circle as much as they want. With the new spawn,
run!
It's all in the open.
Nope. And Ferg's backing off there. He's getting a little low, and he's actually going to run for it right there. And Compact stunts. That was okay. But Rixness is going to get clipped as well, so they both do fall. As Pizuka, who we caught, all those minutes ago on the boat, is alive and kicking. And Ferg's opting to push Jay Snipes here, or thinking about it actually now as he does play the circle. Lost his helmet, so that's not good, or her, excuse me. And Ferg's is going to make it behind the wall, so that's going to be helpful at least. But again, outside the circle here, Jay Snipes is pushing. Brisky actually going to get clipped there by Pers again. This is a really, it's both a tense top 6, but it's still fairly spread out. Normally top 6 feels a little bit tighter than this, but with these couple buildings right in here, it really does throw things for a loop.
And now with the circle kind of collapsing in, only 2 players inside the play zone currently, as we see them all kind of make their way that way. It's, again, the circle's hurting. They have a little bit to go for it. Close quarters looking like it's going to be a big thing with these houses, depending on the next circle, possibly forcing some of these players out. But we see Lush, we see a few of these other players waiting patiently and just in this position. They have no reason to really get too aggressive. They might be able to catch players like Fergs, who has no helmet as they go into the circle. But Besta dying outside the play zone leaves us at 5.
Yep, and then there were 5, and I believe these are all definitely in some of the higher points categories in terms of numbers. So these are we're in the money.
Fergs and J Snipes both just outside the circle, kind of lucky with where this spawned as well, going for the other two. Pizuka, the one player who was longest outside of the initial circle, now going to be in the top 5 and still just barely outside of the new safe zone, having to kind of make those decisions as to where they want to go and where they want to aggress. Enap and Lush haven't found each other yet. Lush looking to just kind of hang out on the balcony. Should have a good view, has some decent guns for the range, and I like the fact with the ump available, that is going to give full auto. You can do whatever you really need to do in this close range, and as long as it keeps these houses in the circle, it's going to kind of favor that.
So, you know, if I'm Pizuka, I'm going, okay, am I the only person, and I like to sort of assume the worst here, I'm probably the only person not in the circle or near it, and I've got to, you know, run across this long range. This kind of stinks. But last game, you know, these guys are doing exactly what happened where, you know, Lush takes out J Snipes, but all the guys that are right up in the circle take each other out, and then you get down to a trade at the end. Speaking of which, L2P Lush, 2 games in top 3, winning the first one. He's going to get some great numbers today.
That, and we have seen Lush pick up quite a few kills so far. Honestly, going to be getting, like you said, great numbers, great point sets, as it seems. Enap not doing the best on ammo. I think that was only 16 shots left right there. Pizuka did successfully make it over here, and I believe is in the circle as it closes down with the top 3. I believe we're probably not going to see some fight until the next one spawns, just because the vision, I mean, for Pizuka, he's not going to be able to spot these players, and they might be able to find him. But again, giving away their position, giving away which house they're in and where they are, they're not going to leave you yet.
And Pizuka is, you know, a couple inches, maybe a foot away from the edge of that circle. And then Enap and Lush are no. And now we're back to Pizuka being the closest to the next circle. And this is the final circle here, doing 11 damage a second.
For those who want to do some math, that hurts a lot. just so you know, if they get caught out, it will just demolish you. And like you said, with Pizuka kind of standing where he is, of course, one misstep going a little bit too far back might cause him a little bit of health. But Lush and Enap both have to leave their safe zone. They have about 30 seconds before this circle starts closing. And with the side that they're on, it's not going to be the fastest part of the circle, but it's definitely going to be moving. It's Pizuka looking to get aggressive, does spot out Enap, and should be able to find, yes, gets the kill. Now with the one-on-one, overall, Lush kind of at a disposition here.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see sort of what happens here. Again, Pizuka, ooh, I don't know who's got the better line, quite frankly, here. But again, both these players top 2. Pizuka needs to run, but Lush might. Ooh, okay, gonna make it. And oh, Lush is in trouble. Oh, but Lush manages again to just control it, and Lush back-to-back W's, 9 kills and 6 kills. So there's an additional 15 points on top of the, I want to say, 60 overall.
2 number 1s in a row, both relatively high kill games, not necessarily the highest that you will ever see, but Lush being able to play and show that, I mean, aggression is going to be able to do it. And I like the lean at the end. Like, well, you just got to see a nice little peek over the wall. You don't have to go as far as you need to. Like, you don't need to run into the circle like we saw last week if you think you can get the kill before it hits you. And while it was going to be able to do a lot of damage, Lush took the little bit of a risk. Both of them having 6 kills, Pizuka just not able to really clinch that one out. And ultimately just kind of terrain Lush a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and that's, you know, what you know, works out. Pizuka, you know, maybe a slight advantage, but Lush just hitting those couple shots. Again, Scar versus a UMP, it looked like 2. The Scar does hit harder per bullet, even if the UMP may shoot slightly faster. Yeah, that's really where I would have liked to have had a Vector or a Micro Uzi or Mini Uzi if I was
in that kind of position. But with that win, and with, I mean, Lush taking, I think, the first back-to-back win that we have seen. Of course, we've only now played 5 games. We will be taking a patient one, as we've seen 2 games today. We do 3 every single week here, and so we will be getting ready for this third match as we get the players ready, we get the lobby set up, and we get these ones going and running forward. We're going to take a short break as we get the next game set up, and we will talk to you in a little bit.
Babe,
Mm,
it's time to get up.
can't be that time already.
Come on, you know you're gonna have a busy day today.
No, I know. I'ma get up. But you know, I think it's gonna be a real good morning, yo. I feel it. Yeah, alarm buzzing, I think it's time that I wake up. Singing in the shower while my girl does her makeup. Kiss on the cheek while I wish her a good day. She handed me my iPod and said, damn, I love you, babe. Popped in my headphones and started my walk. I would've went for a drive, but my whip's in the shop. Look at the clock, 8:45. Looks like I'm running late again. Always trying my luck, but you gotta play to win. I really need one, fighting these demons. Be prepared, life changes like the seasons. I adapt to rap schemes and flash things that I got from music, plus all the problems that cash brings. That's expected when you trying to be great. Just know I give it my all, I know that y'all can relate. I feel the weight, but I just keep pushing. Music is here to help me like a good woman. See, I could never do none of this on my own. Glad that I found a place that I could call home. A comfy bed that I could fall on. Keep dreaming until the day that they come true. Live and learn, enjoy the life that you go through. Never worry, cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up, cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward, cause you know that I'm blessed. Spreading love, cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, never worry, cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up, cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward, cause you know that I'm blessed. Spreading love, cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, you know what they say, good things take time. Seems we always in a rush, but never opened our eyes to see things grow. Take things slow, young boy exploring the world and be home before them streetlights show. Been on the road since them old days. Kenji serving up rhymes like a buffet. Staying humble because that's how I was raised. Finding ways that was different. That ain't the hard part, it's staying consistent, but damn. Life seems to catch me in a bad place, but I'll wait till my spirit starts to levitate. We reach for the peak, trying to find something new. Finally off of work, time to do what I do. Locked in the stew, relieving all my stress in the booth. Shit never gets old, I just love coming home to you. This love in my heart is something I wanna pass to you. The flame lives on, I'll be here when all else is gone. Yeah, cause fam is real, the bond is still. You know my team keep it vintage like a Coupe de Ville. Feels great that I finally found a place of my own. Kick my feet up, can't do no wrong. As long as I'm home, never worry, cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up, cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward, cause you know that I'm blessed. Spreading love, cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, never worry, cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up, cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward, cause you know that I'm blessed. Spreading love, cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on.
And we are back, ready for game 3. 30 seconds left in the lobby before things kick off here. This has been probably one of the more remarkable days. I mean, this is the second week we've done this, but having Lush pick up 2 wins in a row has been kind of a precedent to be set, and hoping to possibly see them make it to the top 10 again. But as it stands, we'll have to see how that one does in game again. I am Gormizer, and joining me one more time, and for the last time for today, is going to be M-Target.
Yep, well, happy to be here. And also to note is that he made it back-to-back with a, 87 and 88. Now we're down to 83. We had about 5 people probably need to go to bed. So, understandable. It is probably late if anybody is from Europe and decided to play for some reason through the lag and everything else.
As it stands with the way the plane kind of starting off, it's going to be an interesting path overall, just going to be allowing some players to opt for the city. This is kind of similar to what we saw actually in the first game today.
Yeah, it should be very, very similar path. So, a lot of people can go on Yasnaya, going Estate. Probably going to see a couple people making it to Lipovka and Crater. A good chunk of people probably going to the school, etc.
Some possibly looking to maybe take a couple of stretches. Look like Combat Stunks might be going up for the ruins up there near Stalber. Rozhawk also an option as well as Lipovka, maybe getting a car, driving down to the military base, which is what we saw a couple players do earlier on. This one kind of leaves it open-ended because of the flight path going into it. We do have the military base kind of open in for the, just right for the picking at this point. Whoever can find a car, I'm looking at these players that are definitely going as far down south as they can. If they can find something, drive on down there, get across that bridge, loot up, no problem, and they will be very happy. A couple of them possibly looking to just kind of land at the houses, do whatever they can, but we do have the first blood. Lukash going to be able to pick up Keith's side there with a headshot, finding that M16 very early on.
So interesting to see what we got going on in here. Datmosen, somebody who did reasonably well day 1, having a rough time today though. He did exclaim in Twitch chat after he died in game 1 that he didn't see his killer. So take that as you will, but again, rough time first 2.
Oh, dropping down actually, Red Eagle is right in the neighborhood of Datmosen. I think they hear each other. Red Eagle going to be patiently waiting, but the micro Uzi going to fire a little bit faster. Definitely spotted through the wall there. Going to have some shots fired right now from Datmosen. But Scarel, you mentioned it earlier, it can hit hard, not quite as fast, but going to take a little bit less bullets overall. And Painkiller is actually going to be leaning a little bit in favor of Red Eagle here, depending on how this aggression wants to go. Both players waiting for the other one, the third-person camera. They can peek through this doorway, no problem, and they will have kind of that peeker's advantage of whenever the other one decides to get aggressive.
Yeah, and would expect to see them get a little bit aggressive sooner than later. Though they are in the circle, they still both are very low on loot, and you got to have loot to sort of get through here at some point. Originally, I don't know where that came from.
There's a lot of players.
That circle is really far north. And entertainingly enough, there's actually, if you all can see it up in Delta, in that square, there's actually an island right there. It's D north of Severny. That island you can actually stand on if you get a boat out there.
I actually didn't even know that. That's
I found that out the hard way when a dude sniped me from there, and I was like, "There's no boat out there. What happened?"
That would be a hot play, because I mean, finding that out now, I can guarantee there's going to be players in this game who don't know that. Now we have 3 players within like just a stone's throw of each other here in the school, and I'm waiting. Good Day with the Vector can drop down, potentially find a kill here if he wants to. Just in the other room, actually going to be running the other way, going downstairs. Not going to be looking for that aggression. Potentially could have had a fight there coming out from it, as we still have, Red Eagle and Datmosen just kind of interlocked in a stalemate. Neither one wants to move because the other one can get the kill if they make that move too early.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And Good Day's just like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out downstairs.
Run around and loot.
I'm looting. You guys can do whatever. He's got a VSS and a Vector. He is happy at close and mid-ranges.
I'm kind of actually wondering, now that I'm thinking about it, do you think the footsteps could throw them off? I don't think, because they were watching the doorway, I don't think either of those players are going to get aggressive or try to go peek or anything like that. But the footsteps running around might kind of go at a
try and grenade tink, but he's pulled the pin. He's got to throw it now. Not just actually missing.
just barely off the mark. Tink Tink does have a UMP, and it looks like with an extended mag as well. Going to jump off the... No, just standing still on the balcony. This is the time to shoot, but none of them are going to connect.
Swing and a miss.
Both players now looking to get a little bit more aggressive. Snapplecat does have the advantage just because Tink Tink looks to have taken some damage while he was running around. And that's going to, hurt him in this. He's going to be able to heal up a little bit, but Snapplecat has that stare advantage, and the height advantage in this game can give you just that slight bit of vision. You're able to aim a little bit faster and hit their head primarily, which is going to kind of just big advantage for Snapplecat.
Yeah, although if he actually takes the stairs themselves, obviously you run the risk of chunking into the actual walls. But interesting enough to see as our map loads in a little bit slow there, and gonna flashbang him just to see if he can maybe drive him out. But no such luck. It's nice to see Pochinki be a hotspot, because we always joke about it being a hotspot on Twitter or Reddit or whatever. And now to actually see some Pochinki plays is nice. So Snapplecat and Tink Tink. Snapplecat wins this 3 times out of 5.
60% wasn't enough for him.
Nope.
That's just got to feel bad. I mean, you can hit the shotgun shot, but it looked like he was able to find it. And actually, we see Baka Bryce miss that, having to reload with the double barrel over under. Has a chance to find this, but it's not looking too great, especially against the SK-12. Not going to be able to find that one, and Relic going to be able to pick that up. Relic, another player that we haven't gotten to see as much this week that we saw a lot of last week.
Yep, definitely. So should be interesting to see how this goes. Speaking of the double-barreled shotgun, personally, we're just going to, while we're waiting and looting and kind of slow playing it here, I would love to see that gun either have a burst option so you can hit, like B to swap and everything else, and it'll empty both rounds, not quite simultaneously, but, sort of faster than you can normally click, or not be able to be iron-sighted and left-click be the left barrel and right-click be the right barrel.
That would be a really neat concept as well, because, accompanying that, with leaning and kind of the angle that you see players, that, it's potential, if you're at a certain angle, my left barrel is going to hit a little bit better than you would see from the right barrel. So that could actually be some interesting play coming through it. So we go back, Datmosen and Red Eagle. Looks like Red Eagle decided to poke at some point, but both of them are still standing in the exact same place, just one with a little less health. At this point, you're losing so much time. You're losing the loot. We already saw that guy ran through and grabbed everything that it is.
In and out.
Good day, yeah. And at this point, it's like, there's no point to this. One of you needs to peak, but both of them, I want to say, partially stubborn, partially just wanting that win as badly as they can, and not able to find the play they want. With the health bars the way they are, it's going to be rough, and Datmosen looking like he's going to have the distinct advantage just coming through it.
Ooh, big Matt.
Headshot.
Oh, no helmet. That's that'll do it.
That'll do it. A lot of people will kind of underestimate that, especially going into it. Level 1 helmets, they're not the best thing. It's not going to be the happiest thing that you have to find, especially when there was a point where you could just find tons of them all around you. But it's better than nothing. It's not much better than nothing, but it is still better than nothing. It's going to protect your head just a little bit, and just enough that things like that won't happen to you.
Well, again, if you look at the quote math, I say it's math when it's really just sort of some experiments that some people have done. Level 1 helmet adds 1 full headshot survive. So if you get shot in the head with an M16 or an M4 or a SCAR, they all do the same damage to the head. Single shot, headshot, done. With a level 1 helmet, it adds 1 shot, so it's 2 shots. You add a level 2 helmet, it adds 2 more shots, so it's 3. You add a level 4 helmet, it adds 3 shots, so it's 4. So a level 1 helmet's really not the worst. Obviously, it's not a level 3 helmet, and everybody complains about level 1 helmets, but I would much rather take 2 shots
than just 1. Yeah,
to the head than just 1, especially in that case.
When you're this early on in a close range, when you have full auto weapons, they don't have to aim that hard. They just have to hope and spray, and at that point, you get kind of like a CSGO spray thing where it comes down to the shot eventually one's going to find your head. They don't have to aim as hard as they have, or as hard as they could, and they're going to be able to find it, especially with just kind of a point click spray. Level 1's going to be your best bet. It's still going to hurt. You're still going to take a lot of damage, but you at least get some counterplay in it. So getting the armor, everything is going to matter. Of course, as it stands right now, we're going to be seeing the circle starting to close in and getting around. Some players still outside, but at this point, I've gotten used to seeing a lot of these players not worry too much about that first circle, not get into a rush and not get too worked up. about the fact that they might not be in it, as we're going to see. Looks like In Taylor just kind of getting some loot at this point, running around in a nice little secluded area, but stuck up here with a couple of other players. Katie Cakes, though, number 2, I believe, on the leaderboard as of last week, looking to try and join them and try to change up the way the game's been going. We have not seen her make a top 10 yet.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because we saw some great play out of her last week. But again, there's a little bit of that RNG factor, a little bit of, maybe some, you make one wrong mistake somewhere along the way. And ooh, speaking of wrong mistake, Fire 1337, I think that was his corpse. That's a fresh, or quite possibly fresh, level 3 military vest that is now just laying on that road.
I'm wondering if anyone sees his body while they're running around, if they're going to stop and loot it, because that's one of the things, like, personally, I'm a loot hog, so I love to be able to grab whatever I can, but you have to be in the right place at the right time to be able to find something like that, and ultimately, kind of out of the area, doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to pick that up. I guess it's a good way. I mean, you're keeping it out of the hands of everyone else, but unfortunately for you, you are now roadkill, so when it comes down to it, well, hey, look, we're back at the school. Datmos and Red Eagle still haven't moved.
I can't believe, I can believe they haven't moved because they both believe that the other person will kill them as soon as they do something, but that's just...
I'm impressed. I'm actually genuinely impressed because of the patience coming out of them. I would have given up at this point. Not even given up, but I would have aggressed. I would have been like, all right, screw it. I'm going in for it. If I die, I die, whatever. Of course, they want the points. They want to go wherever they can. But one person's going to come out on top.
The other thing is,
low health,
is they can jump out those windows. The school is one of the few places where you are actually able to jump out the windows if you do it right. The rest of the map, it's almost impossible to jump out windows, but that is one of the few places where you can do it. I actually didn't know you could until I watched one of the early versions of Zombies where a streamer jumped out the window, ran around behind the zombie horde, and mowed them all down. Which is hilarious.
But Smite. Laying in wait. I think Relic spotted some feet, is going to come in, going to be able to get the shots. That's the problem with being prone right there. You can't get up, you can't aim that fast.
Nope. If you can lean a bit, you can just lean and start shooting, but when you're like, oh, I've got to get up, no, it doesn't work.
Lukash in the neighborhood heard the shots, I believe. A car going to be coming up as well. Not going to be able to spot him because of this ridge, but these players getting very, very close to each other. No one going to be taking the aggressive side just yet. Did Hung just drive straight into the water?
Looks like it. And
and made it out?
The thing is, if you're going fast enough, you get a little bit of air, you hit the water, you maintain your momentum, and if you make it up to the other side, you... Whoop.
Oh boy. That was insane, as now it looks like Lukash potentially going to be getting aggressive here. Bandages is all Relic has under his belt to be able to
And are we going to see Relic die the same way that he got a kill?
Is going to get a peek coming through, running in, not spotting him, though, I think is going to be the big thing. Third-person camera going to pay it off. SK12 going to pay off as well. The aggression going to come out. Shotgun through the door.
He's going to shoot a hole in it real quick.
But now another player kind of joining the fray. Potentially, I'm just going to drive right on
he's
by.
like,
That's exactly what I would do if I heard gunshots at a building, too.
Especially shotgun shots. I'm like, okay, you guys can't hit me. I'm just going to keep going. Con Games, by the way, if you look in the bottom corner, it's obviously gone now, but it did briefly say that he did get a kill with an M249. So we do have a heavy machine gun, or light machine gun, excuse me, on the field right now. And Lukash tried to bait out Relic, and now we're going to have the... Ooh.
Nice shot.
2 headshots. Blap, blap.
We actually see Vades Gaming. I believe we're just now on the second circle, but dying outside the play zone this early on. Fade's not going to be able to make it as far as they did last time. And now when we're looking at the way that some of these players are placed up, that's going to be... Every time we go, like, every time the school is just hovered over, I just see those two hovering next to each other, and it just...
Yep. Let's see. Sneeze and Schloff are kind of fighting. Moliak is healing after getting through the circle on the south side. Real Napalm. He is inside the circle, ladies and gentlemen. Inside the circle. Real Napalm. Everybody, round of applause.
Speaking of inside the circle, where's Machine Gunner?
Machine Gunner.
Might not be alive. We might actually...
not alive or didn't register. Either way. Ooh, Red Eagle got the kill. Finished off Datmosen, so I don't know which one jumped, but somebody blinked. first, and Red Eagle got the win on it. So
I'm actually genuinely impressed with that one, mainly because when it comes down to it, I mean, Red Eagle was low health, low, like maybe 1-2 shots, able to get there, now healing up, now able to loot the rest of the school. We finally get to see the rest of the building.
Red Eagle had a decent amount of loot, though, so...
Annex is going to be joining very, very shortly. Annex is driving up right by. Some players decide to stop and loot. Some players just keep driving Annex. Looks like he's just going to keep going.
Yep, just going to, well, try to keep going. Buggy in that area is not the best.
Now the players, 20 seconds now, sitting kind of closer towards when the circle is going to collapse. A lot of them pretty much already in the circle. This has kind of been a favorable circle since the spawn for the plane, and a lot of the initial drops were kind of up here towards the middle of the map. Spiffaroo looking to be possibly caught out. Mayo, another player, big from last week, going to be in a little shack over there. Grenade cooked. Throw. Shots.
Grenade not far enough, and Mayo... Get some good shots. That sounds like a suppressor M4.
Ooh, Com Games actually took out Spiffaroo from somewhere else. So now Mayo, he saw the dead body drop, and he's a little bit worried. Com Games over there a little bit further east of him won't have vision, but that is going to cause Mayo to be a little bit scared just of this position. Of course, like you had mentioned earlier, that M249, nothing looks more badass at this point. Just running around with this big LMG. And really, with the potential of vehicles, not going to be that big a threat. He can blow him up if he wants to.
It should be... Excuse me. It should be interesting to see what happens here. 46 alive, which is just... It's mind-boggling to think that we've already lost almost as many people as we had enter in last week's games. And we're, at 46 right now. So, coming in here on circle number 3 is closing, I do believe, so...
Looking like a couple of the players...
Or circle number 2 is closing, excuse me, into number 3.
A couple of these players still having a little bit of issues, like just kind of getting around. Looks like Wildy is going to be very, very close by. Again, this is something we've seen a lot of this game. Some of these players, there's two options. They're either in the circle, and this is something I like to do, is when you're inside, you kind of wait and say, all right, I'm going to wait for the next circle to spawn, then I'm going to make my next decision because I don't know where I need to go. But for some players, they hear the footsteps and they take patience and wait, as Red Eagle looking to possibly spot some people out, but having to foot it all the way over. There's a flip buggy right there. Not going to be much help, but it just shows someone was not driving properly. Ultimately, should be able to make it in out of the school finally.
But there's somebody nearby, and funnily enough, this bridge is the same bridge. Actually, no, not nearby. They decided to keep driving there. But that's the same bridge that Red Eagle died on twice last week. So, and we do see Cubsy in a bit of a fight here.
And opting not to take the bridge this time, Red Eagle's going to be able to swimming. But I'm actually looking at Texas, getting a couple of fires coming through. Cubsy, as you said, going to be kind of hovering this one. A lot of players still having a little bit of issues, but Texas has a good position to maybe fight, but also get caught out.
Oh, nope, Josui sees him first, so Texas is in some trouble. He's going to find the rock. But this is going to be an interesting little fight right here, especially because Josui's out of the circle. Like, Josui has to get in. Taking not a whole lot of damage, but it adds up.
He's going to use that med kit to try and heal up. Painkillers from Texas as well, some bandages to try and get to that max health and tick over. And like you said, really, this one kind of favors Texas here. Although the circle, looking like it's going to be far away, is going to take some pot shots over there. The tree, the cover, just a little bit too good for Josui. And, ooh, wow, nice
you say
shots.
A little too
right
good,
on
gets
his
chunked
head.
right there. Again, the spectator doesn't quite sync up with where shots actually are going, but especially because Josui is out of the circle, does not have the luxury of staying still and playing this slow. Gotta move. And I like this decision to just, okay, you know what? I'm gonna full amp on everything and then run. Problem is that the dead beef is just up on the other side here. 8x on an M4 versus a Car 98. If the Car 98 has an 8x as well, I'm gonna err on the side of the Car 98 winning that fight. But dead beef has no idea. Neither of them have any idea that they're there. And if dead beef fires, though, then Josui will just be able to spin and fire. Ooh. Think he sees him? No, not quite.
Both of the players. This is one of those things that, and again, we saw this earlier, and this is one of my favorite things about spectating the games, is we get this overhead view where we get to see, the players just barely outside of his view. Dead Beef not going to be able to see him, and we see Josui not able to pick that up.
This
Whereas
freaks me
Severus
out so much.
I feel like one of those players, like they're just kind of in another deadlock. This is another case where we're going to see this Gazrilla going to get seen and caught out, shot down. UMP Moliak looking to make his way into this week, and honestly, with the way this has been going, pretty good for him. Gazrilla, another player I believe that's in the top 10 right now, looking to get knocked down. That's going to be a top 50 finish, but ultimately not going to be the best.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Texas here on a boat, doing his best, trying to get... He's in the circle now. He's going to try and probably ride all the way up into this small little pond and jump right in, though. That does mean that he's going to have to go right past Moliok, Relic, Compact Stuns, and we're just going to see where it goes. Moliok doesn't actually even really seem to turn around, though with a shotgun, wouldn't really want to.
Trying to keep that range. He does notice him, has a car in his hand, but doesn't seem to have ammo for it, so I'm assuming that was just going to be a play of let's not show ourselves, as we actually see Risknosk here will as well be able to spot out Texas. Does not have too much health, although with the medkit popping off going to be good. Shots so far, though, not going to be good, as Texas ultimately will beach that vehicle, but stays full health the entire time.
So, trading here, but nothing too crazy just yet. Texas not opting to actually full ADS here, but, you know, hey, do it as you want to.
The thing is I saw a couple of players, Riskness, now low health, a Fairy Tale of Sin right here. Heard the shots, knows someone's over there, might have spotted him out as well, and potentially looking for either more kills, but actually going to take I want to say the risk here of running across the field, but it seems like the two are going to be locked in battle with each other. Fairy Tale of Sin going to be taking a couple of shots as Riskness did take into the sniper tower, and Texas has moved away from his boat. This is going to be a risky spot for pretty much every single player involved in it, but Riskness looking like he might be the one who ends up kind of paying for it. There's someone behind him just waiting for the shoots. Moliak going to be able to not actually pick that up. Texas grabs that one long range, but ultimately going to be off the back of Moliak here, who's now going to be caught out in the circle.
Indeed, so 33 alive here. Circle's doing a little bit of damage. Dead Beef does fall to Savartius there, and Qualifications looking for stuff as well. Royal Titan is right up on... Is that... I just missed the name. So this is going to be dicey, especially because there's a loot drop over there. So Josui coming up on Royal Titan as well. Actually running away from him, trying to keep that tree between them, but at the same time he is running towards Qualification. So Qualification's still outside the circle, obviously, so he doesn't necessarily know that he's there.
But this is going to be one of those things. And this is the mentality of the player. So we see a couple players outside the wall. When I'm playing, and Moliak actually going to get taken down with the Scar L there, Josui going to be able to pick up Royal Titan. Texas picking up a kill, and Josui being able to stay alive as well. But with these players that are outside, Real Napalm, he was in there earlier. I remember we called it. He was in there earlier, but not anymore. But some players... in their mind, they don't think about the outside of the circle. And so Qualification, Savartis here, and Real Napalm eventually have a little bit of an advantage because a lot of people think of that as a wall. No one's going to come through. No one's going to be able to hit me. No one's going to be playing outside this circle. But as we can see, there's entirely possibilities for players to get this out as Relic and Sergeant Hatake going to be kind of caught in this another kind of stalemate. They know where each other is. Relic looking to get aggressive.
Yep, Sergeant Hatake manages to make it behind the tree. But grenade from Relic should have the distance. Does, but it was to one side. Hatake manages to get out of the way there. Qualifications does fall to Raptor. Bazooka taking down Funky Daddy. So Bazooka still in this fight here. 27 people left. I'm waiting to see Real Napalm dive to the circle because it's Real Napalm. Good player when he actually manages to get fights in, but like has a hard time with circle management.
Moving, but that looks like the pace of a man that is running, not the pace of a man that is going to be very comfortably inside the circle. As we see a couple players get back in. Savartis going to get in, get some shots down onto Texas, but not enough to find the kill just yet. Texas should be able to kind of pick him out, and Savartis did not have that much cover right there.
Yep, Sergeant Hatake, by the way, did end up winning that fight with Relic that we were covering just a moment ago. Raptor to Raptor also falling to Fine. Katie Cakes getting a kill there onto Fresh Pepper Tony, so we see that she is still alive and kicking. And L2P Lush and Kavorka driving into each other momentarily, possibly with Chlatwaf watching. We do see Katie did get low in that fight, but she is pretty much all alone now, so should have plenty of time to heal back up.
And now with the way that they are driving in, we see Con Games Going to here, Lush might be able to try and end the win streak of the player as he comes up, gets cover, might have an angle on Lush.
He's got plot armor. He's fine.
Plot armor at this point.
He's got plot
If this
armor.
was an anime, Lush is not only going to come in, but this time he's going to have I guess 6 in the last game, 9 in the first game, 8 somewhere in there kills as it comes through.
Like
Lush
3. He's got to keep dropping.
Keep dropping and just kind of go down.
Either that or like 12. It's got to either be lower or just like the comeback.
Kavorka just ran over Schlotwoff. I'm so glad we got to capture that on the stream. I'm so glad that was grabbed by the camera. Nothing feels quite as good as a vehicle kill when the other person, like, they just think, oh yeah, they're going to run by. Maybe they're trying to take shots at you and you just slam right into them. Just going to get taken down by Wino Cake. Wino Cake, 1 hit away. And Smithy, still alive in the top 20, going to be able to pick up that kill.
Yep, Kitty Cakes is cooking here. Bear does die to the play zone. Kitty Cakes does make it in. But let's see. She's just getting flying. Okay, he's going to manage to find a stop there and heal up here. But we do see a bit of a fight there on the ridge near her. Oh, no. Fine's going to find her with the headshot. 13 remaining, excuse me. Just like that. And now we're getting into some dangerous territory, especially because only one person is actually safe in the circle. And there's a minute to go. And a lot of these players have a decent distance to go, including some pretty serious mountain climbing.
Smithy going to be able to take out Texas. I want to say kind of a rivalry going on between the two of them just because those are 2 players who have regularly made it this far forward. X team very, very close by, and I think Smithy knows it, not going to get too aggressive. Lush going to be kind of in a lock still with Con Games, who does still have that M249 and still has that potential with the rocks here and the UAZ cover. Lush might be able to make it out of here. Doesn't seem like Con Games is getting aggressive, but the shot's actually going to be flying out towards him, possibly from Mayo, looking for that kill. The silence shots as well. Might be able to find this and kind of not necessarily ruin the game for Lush, but definitely take Con out. He's going to heal up. The 3 players pretty much in a deadbolt right around this rock.
So this is pretty tense now, especially as we've got Lush in a position where he's got to push, past people. Well, he's in a car, so that he may just go, bye, Felicia. But let's see if, ooh, getting clipped, and
Down.
Dead at number 11. He is done. That is it. We have no 3-peat today, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, technically, it has 2 1s in it, so... 1-1 and then 1-1. So maybe he just won 4 games. He was trying to get the win for the next
just get out.
As it stands, though, that's going to be bringing us down into the top 10. Left Sergeant Hatake going to be able to get in here for the very edge of the circle. A few more players have joined them. Smithy looking to be one of those that's safe as well. And looking, I can't tell if that was a shotgun or a sniper, but we do have an M24 or an M24 here on the sniper side, not the assault rifle or the LMG here, as it looks like
M249. All right, there we go. And Mayo dies outside the play zone. 9 players remaining. We have Fine does manage to heal up, so he should be able to get across that line. X team dying outside the play zone as well. X team having another getting into the tops, but then dying to something not enemy, whether it be blowing himself up once or other things. Pizuka, they're going to get Con Games again. Maybe this is Pizuka's chance to take the W. And I think Hippie Lettuce sees Danny. If not, you probably should see him now, but we're going to look the other way. Reptar is still feeling pretty good about himself. And this is quite an interesting circle, too, because, again, we have the situation where there's one person in the circle and everybody else has to move. Reptar right behind Sergeant Hatake as well. Smithy maybe looking to try and get a W from last week. Reptar does find Sergeant Hatake there. Fine, may have heard something. Smithy's looking the other way, so Smithy may find something here. Danny was taken finding Hippie Lettuce, though, so Hippie Lettuce's position did not do him much good here. Smithy looking not a great position, but he does know that if anybody has to go towards the circle from that direction, they have to go through him.
And right now I'm looking, I mean, Fine is lucky, just barely outside the circle, almost dying to the last circle, just barely able to make it the heal and make it in right there. The circle kind of spawning on him allows him to have that little bit of breath where you go through. Pizuka potentially going to get caught out here as we see Danny was taken coming up pretty much right behind him. They should see him, but actually Danny was taken just a little bit blindsided there, was looking a little bit too far south, and Pizuka going to be able to make it through, running right into the lap of Fine, though.
But hey, he's really in the money. Top 5 is where the points really start adding up here. Pizuka looking at Fine. Fine, though, I think taking some shots. Actually not at Pizuka, but at... maybe it is Pizuka.
I think it originally was
now.
but now Pizuka going to get cut out. Shot's going to come down.
Ding.
That's going to be another kill. Top 3. Reptar.
Smithy takes on Reptar. Smithy.
2.
Guaranteeing himself another top 2 finish here. Fine needs to decide what he wants to do. Fine has to push Smithy. So if you're Smithy, you want to just sit in this rock until the last possible second, especially because you heard those gunshots from the other direction.
He's going to poke
he's got
out.
an 8x too, so
8x going to get him that
chunk.
good vision.
Ooh, the tree.
One more hit's all it's going to take, but Fine, that tree going to be very good. Again, though, in a bad position at this point, not able to really kind of close this gap without exposing himself.
Yeah,
be able
Smithy
to
looking to close here.
Smoke
He's looking,
grenades.
says, I don't want to wait. I'm going to push Fine here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh, Fine just manages to make it, and once again, he's going to go back up and around. Needs to be careful here, but Fine doesn't want to look because he's, again, 1 shot from death, and he knows that Smithy has been able to get these shots off, so he needs to be really careful. And so Smithy playing this rotation game. 1, 2, 3, and there we go! Smithy going to get that with 4 kills. Looking really quickly, L2Pay Lush managed to actually get to 11 with 0 kills this game.
As we see a few of these other players, I mean, Danny was taking Reptar, Fine, Pizuka, but Lush not making it in. I mean, again, number 11 did get some 1s in it, but not going to be the winner. As it stands, looking at it, a few players kind of making their name coming in the standings, going to ultimately favor Smithy. I believe having that win on top of the standings that were there since he was number 1 is going to kind of put him even further ahead. But only seeing 1 win this week is, I mean, Lush kind of coming out surprisingly and being able to find 2.
Yep. Fades Gaming, first person to die today, or excuse me, die in game 3. He took pretty high scores other times. So again, it's just sometimes you take a bad landing. So Smithy, Fine, Reptar 1, Pizuka, Danny was taking our top 5 for this game 3. So a couple of those names in games 1 and 2 as well. So congratulations to them. And thank you to everybody for playing. I certainly look forward to seeing how this adds in with last week's results to see where things go.
But with that, that will be it for this week. We do the 3 games every week. We did it last week, and we will be doing it again next week. So if you want to hit the follow button for the Twitch channel to be able to know when we are going to be live. If you want to play, you can always go and sign up. You can also subscribe, as I have production telling me in my ear, just to go on the full sellout mode. If you want to give us a little bit of extra money, kind of help support things going forward, that's always going to be helpful and thankful from us for us to see that. But if you want to sign up, you can always come in and try to play as well next week. If we end up going over 100 people, we will end up splitting into a couple of groups, so we will be able to accommodate any number of players, so you don't need to worry about maybe not getting the cap. That's never going to be an issue. So if you want to play, go ahead and look into signing up. If you want to follow, if you want to be able to keep up with us, that's going to be good. Always follow the channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Gormize, and you can follow MTarget as well. And
that would be at MTargetProduct.
And with that, I believe will be the end of the week for this week and the end of the games as well. And you can always kind of keep track, come back next week to either watch and or play. But we will talk to you guys then, and we will be closing it out now.